afternoon to everyone present here. Today I am your teacher, Sorbani ma'am, who will be teaching you on the forms of government. So, as you know, I am a B.Ed trainee teacher who would is completing this part of the syllabus on political science, which is forms of the government. Now, if you know the different forms of government, you would understand that ma'am has done unitary form of government before, and today we are focusing on a different form of government. Before we begin, the first question: how many types of government do you think we have in India? Of course, not in abroad. Let's stick to India. So, if you know, even abroad, please do let me know in the comments that if you think that there are different types of government apart from the style we have in India. So, as I have said that previously, we have done unitary form of government, and today we will be focusing on features of federal government, advantages, comparison, and unitary form of government. Federal, the term itself, federal means central union. Federal government is a term commonly used in the US, if you understand so that the central government in US is called federal government. Federal funds, federal finances, similar to what we say union budget, union finance ministry, and central government budgets and central government ministry. Please keep these terms in mind while we are proceeding with the content. Okay. So next one is types. So when we are talking about a federal form of government, it is important to understand government. So two types. One is at the center and one is at the state. Now you might ask, ma'am, why do we need a central government and why do we need a state government? You know, India has a huge population, right? Because India has a huge population, one central government cannot look into regional demands. Yes, that's why there is one central government at the center, that is in New Delhi, and there are governments in the state, that is in West Bengal. We have the TMC rule government led by Mamata Banerjee, and the central government, that is the people elect their prime minister, which is led by PM Narendra Modi from BJP party. Now, government had told you that if you defined a government, how would you define a government? A government is a body of people who runs a state or a country. Since the term state becomes synonymous to country, please keep in mind while we are doing the further chapters. Now, federal government. You can see the picture? Yes, that is the Supreme Court of India. Before we move into the judicial system, you see the examples are mentioned here. That is India, USA, Germany, Australia, and Brazil. Yes, absolutely. So these are the examples where federal form of government can be found. Now, there is clear division of power. This is one of the most important features of a federal form of government. Why? The Constitution clearly states that what are the powers of the state, what are the powers of central government. Quick example. One would be changing of state boundaries. The central government with only one-fourth amount of vote in the Lok Sabha and in the parliament can change the boundary. Best example, in 2014 when the state of Telangana was formed and the division was based on the basis of language. So yes, the state government of Hyderabad did not have a say, or rather Andhra did not have a say when Telangana was formed. And Telangana was formed after a huge amount of fight that was going between the Telugu speaking people and the Tamil speaking people, which clearly shows central government can easily make a carve out a state. Another example of central and state government would be accession of Sikkim in 1975. Central government bought in Sikkim, rather it became part of India, which is called accession. Sikkim acceded to India. Now you will see bicameralism. You know, in Kolkata, we have different courts. Yes, subordinate courts, we have fast track courts, and the biggest and the highest court in state is, yes, that is the biggest court in Eastern India, that is Calcutta High Court. In state, it is Calcutta High Court. In the central, it is Supreme Court. This picture we have in the background. You might ask, ma'am, why do we need two courts? Central government deals with a lot of powers. State government also has its powers. Whenever any case has to be filed, first the state government approaches the court in the state, that is Calcutta High Court. Then, if the state feels that this is the powers and function that have been given to the state government have been violated, and and they feel that justice is not being served to them, they move to the Supreme Court, which is the apex, the central court, after which there is no way to get justice, or you cannot cross over Supreme Court, if I may put it that way. Now, Constitution decides which government has which much powers. If we talk about powers, defense is in the hand of central government. You have a defense ministry, and partly of it has been given to state. How do we know? BSF, yes. We had CBI and CID. Supreme Court decided which of them will be gone for reinforcement of laws. Then, moving on to the next one, many federal systems have bicameral legislature. Yes, bicameral legislature means two houses of the parliament. In India, we house of the people, that is Lok Sabha, and the council of the states, that is Rajya Sabha. In US, it's the Senate, another is House of Representative. I think you all know how popular the Senate became after Trump came. Yes, it's similar because Trump came into power. Senate has a lot to do, and the same thing happened when Modi came into power. Lok Sabha, which the state or which the government has the majority of its people sitting there. The central government together makes up people from the particular party. In 545 seats, suppose 425 goes to BJP, they're the majority. It's a one party show, and yes, you know, Lok Sabha is being run by that party. And Rajya Sabha, on the other hand, is not so diverse. On the we see that the council of the states, we have different kinds of people who rule this thing, but you must remember that both the houses together make up the parliament. Now, federal systems have both central government and state, which have regional and states and regional responsibilities, that is, both of these kind of states have their own responsibilities to fulfill, and they will do that. Now, because I explained the features, now do you think the federal system in India which we have is nice, or do you think it's fair enough? You, whatever your views might be, please do put it in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to listen to it. Now, I think it's fair enough. Now, why do you think a constitution makers opted for federal form of government if the federal government was not applicable? Yes, changing needs of the time. Biggest thing in constitution is putting up with the demands of the people. Example would be Telangana. How Telangana came into being is one of the biggest examples of why we need federal form of government. Now, state compete for resources, water. Punjab and Haryana both are fighting for water. Who settle these disputes? The central government has a say, and if the settlement is not there, they approach their respective uh, high courts, which they go there and they settle the dispute. Now, moving on to the next feature, that is, smaller units of government are usually responsible. Yes, the state government is responsible to its own people, and people vote for them. So their resources are properly provided to them. They vote for the resources, and when you know the resources are not being, that means the government is not being accountable to them. Now, if you think and that you cannot agree with the federal form of government, please write in the chat. Now we will do a comparison. Okay, power is centralized in the hands of government. Power is divided between the central and state government. Yes. Now, if you look at the division, and you know that unitary government is in UK and France and China, but the federal government is in United States, India, and Canada. Now, may or may not have a written constitution. India has a written constitution. US has a written constitution. Canada has a written constitution. Yes, India dictate powers from both of them. So yes, you can say that because it is rigid, and we know that written constitution provide the division of power properly. Unitary government, centralized powers, central government has the last say to say, and I don't think always the accountability of the central government is to all the counties or the provinces or the state are there. So if you think it's possible a unitary form of government can rule as an independent one, do write it in the chat. Now let's move on to the next one. Some practice, of course, because I've taught you, let's do some practice. Okay, the first question, please go through it. Which of the following features is the most characteristic features of federal form of government? Federal form of government. Yes. Please go through. Yes. Correct. The answer in the chat box is correct. Division of power between. No. If you think the division of power is not a characteristic, go to the question. Is which of the following is the most characteristics features? You are sure that division of power? Yes. There is proper division of power between the central and regional government. In unitary system of government, the ultimate authority rests with whom? I'll count 3, 2. Yes, absolutely correct. Central government. Moving on to the next question. Quite good. I think you all could grasp the content really well. Which of the following countries follow a federal system? I told you about the examples. Now see if you have followed the class or not. Yes, answer is India. Correct. India forms a federal form of government. Next one. In federal form of government, the constitution is usually the answer. Absolutely, the answers are in the chat box. It's correct. In federal form of government, it is written and rigid. Absolutely correct. Last one. Let's see how many if we can get a 5 upon 5. Next one. A loose alliance, the agreement between the union of state. The term federation in India constitutes what? It's very. I'll tell you an interesting thing if we're able to answer this one. Yes, it is a union of state, the strong center. Yes. India is Union of States. First article, Article 1, which Ambedkar had clearly stated, is India, that is Bharat. When you hear the term Bharat, that is India and Bharat, the synonymous term. No matter how much people go into a debate, personal opinion, I think India is equal to debate. Okay, so thank you for attending class today. Thank you.